With a new MLB season coming up in a few months, here are some picks to be possible first-time All-Stars in the upcoming 2025 season. Kicking things off, let's go to newly named San Francisco Giant Willie Adams. Last season with the Brewers, Adams had a slash line of 251, 331, 462, and a 794 OPS. He also had 32 home runs and 112 RBIs. He was definitely one of the many bright spots of last year's Brewers team and honestly should have made it to the Midsummer Classic last year. Adams is definitely going to be an interesting fit with the Giants in their pitcher-friendly ballpark, but I still think he will be solid enough to make his first MLB All-Star game. For a player who has constantly been consistent his entire career, it is about time he makes it to the Midsummer Classic. Next up, I want to stay on the West Coast and talk about an up-and-comer in Lawrence Butler of the Athletics. Last season with the Athletics, Butler put up a slash line of 262, 317, 490, and an 807 OPS. He as well hit 22 home runs and had 57 RBIs. He also put up 18 stolen bases. Last year was clearly the start of his MLB breakout. His main rookie campaign was in 2023, and during that, over the course of 42 games, he put up a WAR of -0.5. Last year, he brought that all the way up to a WAR of 3. This is a great jump to have, especially for a younger player like he is. Butler is set to turn 24 next July, so why not have him celebrate his birthday at the All-Star game? I fully believe Butler should be an All-Star in 2025 and honestly could have superstar potential around him for years to come. With the Athletics set to be moving to Vegas in a few seasons, if Butler pans out to be the type of player I think you'd want to build around. Jackson Chourio of the Brewers got unlucky during his Rookie of the Year campaign, having to go against the likes of Paul Skeens and Jackson Merrill. However, I think he will build off of this amazing year and be an All-Star in 2025. Last year, he put up a slash line of 275, 327, 364, and a 791 OPS. He also put up a WAR of 3.8 in his rookie season. This is a player the Brewers are going to be building around for years to come and should be an early favorite to be in first-time MLB All-Star in 2025. He as well has some speed with putting up 22 stolen bases last year. I honestly think he will be continuing to build onto this part of his game as his career continues. Chourio is going to be a star in the MLB if he can continue from his rookie year, which is why I think it's pretty easy for him to make this All-Star game. I am such a big fan of Carrie Carpenter, so I had to put him on this list. Last year with the Tigers, Carpenter had a slash line of 284, 345, 587, and a 932 OPS. He as well hit 18 home runs and had 57 RBIs. I think Carpenter, if he avoids another injury like he did have last year, he could be a very realistic pick for a first-time All-Star. Last season, due to a back injury, he missed 3 months of the season. However, he managed to put up all of those numbers in the span of 87 games and 296 plate appearances. I feel Carpenter is definitely a key piece of this core that Detroit is building right now and should be getting a lot of consideration to be a first-time All-Star in 2025. Going to Pittsburgh, I'm going to say ONeal Cruz should be a pick for a first-time MLB All-Star. Last year, Cruz had a slash line of 259, 324, 449, and a 773 OPS. He has well put up 21 home runs and 76 RBIs in what you could call his first full MLB season. Cruz was definitely being held back by his previous ankle injury the year prior, so he only put up 22 stolen bases. However, this number I can easily see being higher. Along with this, he did put up a 2020 season last year, and I think this year he can go for a 30-30. Many thought Cruz was going to be a guy to hit for a lower average than most, but still was able to put up a decent 259. Not to mention, Cruz hits the ball very hard. It wouldn't shock me if Cruz is a guy who was picked by the league for the home run derby, which I'm kind of shocked they didn't try to do this last year. Besides that, I think 2025 is going to be a big year for ONeal Cruz, and that is why I think he will be a first-time All-Star. I think another safe pick is Yoshinobu Diaz of the Houston Astros. Last year, Diaz put up a slash line of 299, 325, 441, and a 766 OPS. He also hit 16 home runs and had 84 RBIs. Not to mention, he also had a very decent 2023, where his slash line was 282, 308, 538, and an 846 OPS, with 23 home runs and 60 RBIs. Diaz, the last 2 seasons, also has had a WAR of 3.2 in each, which is pretty impressive. He is more than likely going to continue this positive trajectory into 2025, which should propel him to be a first-time All-Star. Last season, Diaz ranked amongst the leaders in the AL in that categories of total hits, where he ranked 7th with 175 and was 5th place in batting average. Diaz is definitely going to be a piece of Houston's core that they are going to want to keep for the long term, as he is only 26 and is still showing much growth. I think besides Adams, who was on this list earlier, he's one of the safest picks to get that first-time All-Star nod. Another similar pick is Yoshinobu Yamamoto of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Last season, in his first year in the MLB after leaving Japan, he put up an ERA of exactly 3 and had 105 strikeouts. This was done across 18 starts and 90 innings of work. Last season, he suffered a shoulder injury, which ended up sidelining him for about 3 months, so if that injury doesn't happen, my guess is ERA would have been somewhere around the 280 mark possibly. I feel if the injury also didn't happen, last year's NL Rookie of the Year race would have been more intense to add him alongside Paul Skeens, Jackson Merrill, and Jackson Chourio. I feel that Yamamoto is one of the early picks for many to be in the NL Cy Young conversation in 2025, as well as an option to start the MLB All-Star Game in 2025, if he continues where he left off last season. Next up, I have Mark Vientos of the New York Mets. Vientos last year had a slash line of 266, 322, 516, and 837 OPS. He, along with that, had 27 home runs and 71 RBIs. Vientos is a player who I think was one of the Mets' best offensive pieces by the end of last season and is going to be a very important part of their hopeful 2025 playoff run. This, of course, would put him in a great spot to be picked as a first-time All-Star. If the fans in New York somehow can't get enough votes for him to start, I can definitely see him as a backup pick. At only 25 years old, currently, Vientos stalled his breakout into the MLB last season after 2 poor brief stints in 2022 and 23. It is going to be interesting to see if Vientos is going to be able to keep things going like they did in 2024. The final player I'm going to name in this video is Zack Neto of the Los Angeles Angels. I think Neto is a great candidate to have a breakout year or just flat out build on an impressive 2024. In his first full season, Neto had a slash line of 249, 318, 443, and a 761 OPS. He had 23 home runs and 77 RBIs to go along with that. He was also a threat on the bases where he put up 30 total stolen bases. With Bobby Witt Jr. and Gunnar Henderson currently as some of the top shortstops in the AL and all of baseball, it might be difficult for him to get that starting job. However, I think an all-star nod should be in the works soon. Amongst shortstops last year, he put up a WAR of 5.1, which ranked him 5th in the league. He also put up an 11 DRS at a premium position, being shortstop. So overall, I think Neto should be a guy many fans are looking to be a first-time All-Star in 2025. So that's just my brief list of first-time All-Star picks. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you aren't, leave a like on the video, and comment down below some other players that you think could be first-time All-Stars in 2025. Thank you all as always for watching, and I'll see you all next time.